Another 5G news, AT&T's 5G Plus, their millimeter wave, that's on the move also. We're seeing that expand as well. It's now in 40 markets, so that's good. You guys will be seeing it around the U.S. in different cities. It is most definitely correlated with places that have high data traffic demand. So we're talking about urban, city centers. We're talking about stadiums, arenas, concert venues. I've seen quite a bit of AT&T's millimeter wave 5G Plus downtown in the CLE. Makes sense. You got a lot of ongoers. There's concerts and a lot of people in the nightlife and such. And it makes sense for that application. But where AT&T is going to start focusing on as well is they're going to start putting it in airports. When I found out that AT&T was doing this, I smiled real big because an airport makes total sense. Everybody gets off. They go to these baggage claims, and then they go to the terminals, for arrivals. And the networks can get bogged down very easily. You got Ubers, you got taxis, you have people that work in the facility, you have, everybody that's getting off the planes and trying to call for their ride and all these. It makes perfect sense to be on millimeter wave. Seriously, people start watching video while they're waiting for rides. Makes perfect sense to me. One could argue bus stations and train stations would also fit the bill. So I'm all for it. I think that's really smart by AT&T to kind of get out in front. They want to be in 7 airports by the end of this year to have the millimeter wave configured and installed. They want to be in 25 airports by the end of next year. So the gates, the baggage claims, the terminals have all those covered with the ultra capacity of millimeter wave. I'm assuming that it's also great because there's not going to be any type of interference issues. I don't know what type of higher frequencies are transmitted around the airports, so hopefully that works out. Otherwise, they created another problem for themselves. So arenas, stadiums, entertainment venues, concerts, festivals, it all makes sense. Now you could throw airports in there. I think it works. I think Verizon should probably be doing this as well. T-Mobile could too. I don't know. So we'll see how that goes for the other carriers. And it looks like AT&T is also going to be installing millimeter wave at their retail stores. That's brilliant. That's what Verizon does. You want to show people what your 5G can do, and that's a piece of it. In markets that do have 5G Plus for AT&T, I think it's fair. I think the retail stores should have them there so they could show people, here are some of the network elements that we have. I think that's good. Kind of like showing what your network can do. So that's, for that millimeter wave, the 5G Plus, it's N260. It's 39 gigahertz. These C-RAN sites are great. They get full LTE upgrades, they get full 5G upgrades, and then they get some really interesting stuff sometimes with band 46, which is LTE. It doesn't reach very far, but it is highly capacitive and is very fast. Millimeter wave's incredible. These are incredible capacity opportunities for them to really support the network, which is why I tell people, if you live in markets that have 5G plus millimeter wave and have all these C-RAN, it makes sense to have an upgraded device. Running the iPhone 6 in 2021 is a losing proposition. If you're on the AT&T network, T-Mobile network, and Verizon network, there's so many new elements to the networks, right? So just my take, upgrade your phone so you can get all that stuff. First airports for AT&T's millimeter wave, the 5G Plus, they mentioned Dallas, Los Angeles, and Denver. All right, so that's pretty cool. They're going to also continue a partnership with Boingo, which I think is some kind of a Wi-Fi partnership that they have. I'm not familiar with it. I have read articles where they mentioned it. They mentioned the partnership being in LaGuardia, JFK, so we're talking about the 2 big ones in New York City, and Midway in Chicago, and O'Hare as well. So those are big-time hubs. Makes total sense for AT&T to do this. The SMT takeaways for what AT&T is doing there. Number 1, traffic in these airports are picking up. Traffic in these venues is picking up. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. Put all the illness stuff aside. Who knows? But this is millimeter wave and 5G Plus's opportunity to shine. All right. So if things are to stay somewhat mostly flowing with people coming and going, capacity is going to be needed, whether it's in airports or whatever. Also, I think the second thing here is The unlimited elite plans are completely non-deprioed, right? Full access all the time, massive amounts of tethering hotspot data. These high access plans need high capacity networking. This allows you to do that a little bit better, right? The more it scales, the better. And get yourself a compatible device, because as this stuff builds out, you're going to want millimeter wave access. For the iPhone, it starts with the iPhone 12, that generation and moving forward. For Android, you're talking about the Google Pixel 5 and forward. For Samsung, it goes back probably really to the S20 generation. The S10 Plus 5G variation, it's I don't know, that's like first gen 5G that was terrible. So really it starts with the S20. Definitely the S21's even better. I'd say starting this next generation of phones with the next generation of modem technology, the modem should get a lot better, picking up 5G signals like millimeter wave a lot more effectively. So getting connected, latching on, and having quality connectivity. Just my opinion, you know. But hang on tight. This stuff's about to get really good. Nice job by AT&T getting millimeter wave where it should be.